Just so you know, as a secret, my heart rate just dropped phenomenally by looking in all your eyes. Thank you. It's nice to see how beautiful I am this morning. Yeah. So, two couples are getting ready for a date. One couple, one young lady, is putting on her makeup, putting on her push-up bra, putting on her tight pants, fake eyelashes, tons of makeup, all kinds of hair product, getting ready for her date. She's thinking, he's gonna know how hot I am. The guy is getting ready for his date. He's been working out all day, pumping up, showered, get everything all trimmed, got his best clothes on and put on cologne. So she's got perfume, he's got cologne. They go to a dance club, they drink all night, lose their inhibitions, dance, dance, dance. They go home, do the funky monkey. And for 3 months they date, break up, and go on their way. Another couple, getting ready for their date, the woman's showers, got a little bit of an eye thing going on. She's like, you know what, I'm not going to put any makeup on, he's going to like me for who I am. Puts on just some regular clothes, takes a shower, hygienically clean, puts on no makeup whatsoever, puts on an outfit that she's comfortable in, that makes her feel good inside. And she thinks, I hope this guy sees me for who I am. The guy's getting ready for his date, takes a shower, shaves, does all the same drill, puts on a pair of pants, puts on a shirt, and thinks, you know what, I'm so tired of the bar scene, I think I'm going to just take her to a nice restaurant. We're just going to skip that whole drill and see if I just get to know this girl. They go out to dinner, they talk, realize they have nothing in common, have a wonderful evening, say goodbye to each other, and never date again. 5 years later, the first couple meets. They stand there for 30 seconds, yeah, how you doing, okay, and they go on their way. The second couple meets, and they talk. So how you doing? So how's that business you were gonna open? Pretty good. How's that medical field you were going into? Really wonderful. How was your life then? Totally great. I got all the dreams and aspirations I strived for. Which couple do you think was more intimate with each other? Yeah. You see, we think sometimes that physical intimacy is intimacy. But those people did not know anything about each other. 5 years later, they met, 30 seconds, they're on their way. But the people who spent some time with themselves, even finding that they didn't want to date anymore, they looked into each other enough to know that they were different, that they had differences about them, that there were things within them that they shared, that they knew just by being with each other that this relationship wasn't going to work, and they left it a clean way. And 5 years later, when they saw each other again, they were generally interested in each other. They had compassion. Well, in our life, so many times, we want to be seen, but we're afraid to show each other who we are. Unless it's going out to the bar, losing our inhibitions, and hooking up with each other's spacesuits, as David Roth wrote in a fun song. Because in our spacesuits, there's 3 major control centers: the brain, the heart, and the groin. And at any one time, they're trying to connect us. Well, sometimes the groin just steps in too many times, because what we are seeking is intimacy. And it's the only way it knows how to set this up in the human condition. So there's many ways to look into ourselves. We've been talking about the emotional body, okay? The last few talks we've done have been the selves within us. Now, if I want to be intimate with people, I have to let them see me. Everything in me. All the selves within me. I wrote that as my blurb for the thing. What does it say? We want to be loved, we want to be known, we want to be seen, we want to be shown. We want to be intimate, we want to be lovers, yet fear makes us hide and keep undercover. So embrace all the selves, hold on for the ride. It's freedom to show them, it's prison to hide. If you're ready to know them, if you're ready to be free, then look at each other and say, into me see. You see, our whole lives, this poem could be walked, it could be a little mantra for us. Because our whole lives, we're wanting to bond with each other. We're under the illusion that we're separate in the first place. We've come together in a good way in a community like this to bond with each other and to become more intimate. But how many of us really even know each other? How many of us really know ourselves? This part of us that says we want to be seen, we want to be shown. I want you to know who I am. But how are you going to know who I am if I don't see you? Now, I always make the joke about Dee, and she's never here when I make the joke. It's kind of funny. That Dee always says, I share too much information, but she says it playfully and lovingly with me. But the thing is, if I want you to know me, and I don't share with you, how are you going to know me? You may think you know me, but that's just your mind's opinion of what I am. If you want to know me, ask me. I'll tell you who I am. If I tell you my life story, I'm just going to tell you who I've been. Those are all the things I did in the past. You want to know who I am? Hang out with me. Ask me how I'm feeling in the moment. That's who I am. That's who I will be in this current minute. And if I want to know who you are, I got to be willing to see that too. I got to be willing to listen to you. I got to be willing to hear what the whats that are coming out of your mouth are saying to me. The messages from your spirit to my spirit. To know that, again, from the beginning of me taking over here, I said, I want you to see that you're God. Well, you have to look at yourself. So underneath, I put some mirrors under everybody's chair. I'd like everybody to do me a favor, and I'll invite you to pick up a mirror. How many of you have ever done mirror work in your life? How many of you have wanted to do mirror work and haven't? How many of you are really saying, Mark, what are you doing now? Dad, you Dave would raise his hand. Thank you, Dave. This is because if you want me to see you, you have to see yourself first. So I'm going to invite everybody. We're going to do a whole 45 seconds. You think you can handle it? 45 seconds. Hold your mirror in front of your eyes and just simply look in your eyes. Yeah, you can. Just your eyes. Not your nose, not your eyebrows, not your makeup, not your mustache, not your man or woman. Just breathe. No words. And if you have one that like that, it's a two-sided mirror. Just breathe. Just notice what goes on, what shadow may come up. Just be aware, gentle with yourselves. This is only for 45 seconds. You can come back to us now. It got quiet. The energy, I know, but I'm talking about your energy shifted. I watched it, I felt it. Call me crazy, I don't care if you do anyway. But I felt it. Got real quiet, got real subtle, got real calm. And other energies were there too. What am I doing? Why is he making us do this? Well, I'm not making you do anything. It's a free will universe. I invited you to, and you did it. Was that a first time for anybody? Looking in their eyes? I'm talking also. Amen. What'd you notice about yourself?
I noticed something very interesting. When I looked into my eyes but then changed my focus, I could see a third eye right there.
Right on.
when you looked in the mirror and you weren't really focusing on it, you were just kind of letting your focus shift. It was really cool.
And it is cool, and it's a way to get to know you. I invite every single one of us to do this kind of work for the rest of your life. I've told this story before, I'm going to tell it again. When I was a little kid, I was about 6 years old, and I was making toast. My toast got stuck in the toaster. It had already popped, so I knew the electricity was gone. I was a smart little kid, but I stuck my knife in there to get it out, which was the #1 rule we've all been told: don't stick your knife in the toaster, you'll electrocute yourself. But only if it's on, not if it's off. And I knew that. Well, my brother called me a bad word. He called me a retard, which we know nowadays is not a good word. But as a 6-year-old, I made the face. So my mom said, "Oh, you think that's funny? Go in the mirror and make faces for an hour." For an hour? Well, I had a blast. It was really fun. But after the first 15, 20 minutes, I started running out of faces. But what I did do is meet Mark. And I looked in my eyes for the first time in a real deep way and saw me. And I had never done that before like that. It's like I had just run out of faces to make, but what was there was me. And I think this was my very first workshop, because I didn't know I was going to start processing. I didn't even know what processing was, but I can remember the emotion. I can remember some of the thoughts that started coming up. I know that even though I was making funny faces and doing all this silly stuff, that somewhere, when I looked in that mirror, I tapped into me, because I was looking into me, and into me I saw. And I started realizing, even at an early age, I had some emotions that were different than some other kids. I had some heaviness in my life already at 6 years old. I had an intuit about me that I looked around and my friends didn't have, and I thought they were just mean or made fun of people. But I didn't know that about me until I started looking into me. Well, if you want to get to know yourself, who better to tell you about you than you? We've done all kinds of emotional workshops. Margie's led some, Sue's done. This speaking class, by the way, I don't think it's not a workshop. Sorry if I busted things. Because it gets, hey, look, I don't have my book. Thanks, Sue, by the way. I went to her class too, and part of my mentor's gift to me was helping me get rid of my book and challenging myself more and more and more by just getting up here. Now, Spirit works with me too, and I work with me, but all of this has been a culmination of looking into me to find out who I am. We did a talk a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about who is the person inside of you to trust, and that confide and confidence and all of that had to do with the who. And the confidence in me is trusting in me. Well, I needed to play in your class to find the trust in me. See, I noticed that, well, I did a 15-minute talk without any book. It's just 15 more minutes. I mean, I had to do all this mental dialogue in my head too. But it was more about looking into myself, into me see. That's what this whole talk is about. I had to become intimate with myself. And I'm not talking about physically. That's the physical body. It would be easier for me, and it has been easier for me, to be naked with a total stranger and do things than to tell them how I felt in my past. Now it's pretty easy for me to tell people how I feel. I'm more willing and able to be emotionally naked in front of people than I was willing to be physically naked, especially if my body wasn't what I wanted it to look like in the moment. Never have been my emotions what I wanted to look like in the moment. I've always been cellulite in my emotions, if you want to say that. It's like the worst part of us that we wouldn't want people to see. So it's like I had to find a word that I could translate, but I guess that won't work. So, because it's... Pat's like, I know, I'm the only one. There's more runners in here, too. That was for you, but it's true. We all have this. It's the worst part of ourselves that we deem, because just so the women know, the men aren't looking at it that hard as you are. Just sidebar. But, yeah, just my sister, so. But, that part of us that thinks that about our emotions doesn't want anyone to see. They think that we're all ugly, and it's not about ugly. It's about, we've said this, Margie has said it, the only negative emotion is the one that I can't get out. So if I'm in love with you, and I can't tell you, how intimate are we going to become? You see, behind me is a poem that talks about prison and being in prison. If I can't show you who I am in prison. I am not free. Scott and I watched the movie Braveheart. We loved the movie Braveheart. At the end of our workshops, I had started yelling freedom really loud from that moment, and I didn't want to have to get my entrails cut out to do it. But Spirit said no. I had to throw that in there. But what he was singing at the end was freedom. And he screamed at the top of his lungs on his last moment. Well, I don't want to be on that table screaming that on my last moment. I want to be able to scream it in my alive moments. And if I'm not free enough to show you who I am, then I am in prison. And if I want you to come into my world, what am I saying? Come into jail with me? Who would sign up for a relationship with me if I said, come on into jail? Hang out with me in here. I'm never going to let you see who I really am, and I'm going to lock you up inside with all the neurotic selves. But other than that, let's have a great time. And if you want me to see you and you're never willing to come out, am I supposed to join you in your jail? In your prison of selves? We have to be open enough first with ourselves to be able to look in the mirror, look in our eyes, own it all, own everything. It's only a moment. Anyway, I had a really rough weekend last weekend. And I'm so much of a perfectionist that I give myself a hard time if I don't show up perfect emotionally, or if I don't show up perfect walking my talk. Meaning, I said to you, I will always show you who I am, and I will always let you see. And last week I got so overwhelmed in some of my own emotions, and it was the end of the day. It's not like everybody was still here, but a few of us were still here, and I went home because I thought I was going to have a meltdown right in front of everybody, and I wasn't. I was overwhelmed. But when I walked away from it, I heard another person in me saying, you didn't let them see you. And I'm like, but I didn't want them to see me melting down. And he called me a liar. Now, we dealt with that because that's just some of the language that he's programmed for, because I'm not a liar. But I want to press myself to always show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. All of it. It's part of who I am. It's part of who we are. If you're going to love me for my wonder, then love me for my woe as well. It's like I said, perhaps Spirit is trying to show me the crappy side of my own self with this, and I had to look at that. I want to be loved for that part of me too. If we want to be in an intimate relationship with each other, we have to love each other for all of the selves within. The good, the bad, the ugly. See, Becky busted me, and I had to listen to my own talk. A couple talks ago, I said the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I didn't mean to do it on purpose. Freudian. I had to rewind it 5 times. Oh my God, I did say that. So there's no accidents of what's been on my mind, but I'm willing, through my friends, through people that I love, to tell me and to show me that aspect of myself. That's what intimacy is, man. Who better than to show me than people that I've said, looking in their eyes and saying I love them. Matter of fact, I just was more intimate with the front row than a lot of us have been intimate with each other. But I still don't want to smoke a cigarette either. Isn't that cool? Is it good for you guys? Don't tell mine. But my point is that right there, being present and just sitting here for a moment and being in each other's eyes and knowing that I'm safe, that is foreign to me, man. Well, not anymore, but it was. I was cool with looking in my own eyes and making silly faces and stuff, but I was not comfortable looking in your eyes. Because one, if I look in your eyes, you're gonna know how I feel. We always say the eyes are the window to the soul. Have you ever noticed where you're mad at somebody and you didn't want to look them in the eye? Hi, how you doing? Yeah, okay. Yeah. And they're like, how you doing? What's the matter? Because you know, if they see your eyes, they're going to know you're mad at them. They're going to know. And we're doing all our best to just hide this from each other. Because we want to be intimate. So let's go out. We'll put on all this perfume and cologne so our own pheromones won't be smelled by each other, just to confuse the body even more. And I'm not knocking perfume and cologne if you want to wear it. Just understand that your body has its own perfume and its own cologne designed to help you become intimate with each other. Do you know that brothers and sisters release pheromones that distract each other so that you won't commit incest with your family? It's a species thing. It's the way the biology of our body is set up so that when we procreate, we procreate healthfully because Spirit set it up that way. That if we procreate with people too close to our own genomes, we're going to have defects and deformities and things like that. So one of the things that is set up by us, because we're all spirit, in our biology is that we release pheromones that make us repel against our brothers and sisters. Ah, good point. Maybe that's why siblings fight so much. Very good point. That's a very good point. We have a different kind of intimacy in our family. It's not supposed to transcend into a physical, sexual intimacy. But we're allowed to be close with each other. I'm closer to some of you than I am to my own brother in some aspects, emotionally. My sister's been coming here, and because of that, we've been getting more intimate because we've been talking more and more and more about our feelings, our spirits in life, and how we really feel on the inside. What makes me tick? What makes me walk around? What makes you tick? What makes you walk around? What is your passions? What do you want in this life? If you don't share these things with me, I'm not going to know. And we may think because we hook up our spacesuits once or twice on this journey that we were intimate. Oh, I have no problem with intimacy. Yes, I'm very intimate with people. Matter of fact, I was intimate 5 times last week. Thank you very much. But then they say, well, can you look me in the eye and just tell me how you feel? They're like, what? Man, this guy's nuts. Commit him. Send him away, which actually sometimes I think you're going to do anyway, but that's okay. Sometimes I think it'd be easier to just go someplace and leave baskets and send them all to you for Christmas and stuff. But that's okay. That's because I do look into myself and see all the cells, and they're wonderful. You have to be willing to look in and see the people within you that you think are crazy, and own them, and let them out, and love them. And tell your friends all about them, because they see them anyway. Don't think for a minute we can hide our neuroses from each other. I thought I could. Apparently, I suck at it. No poker for me in any of my neuroses. But if I just tell on myself on purpose, it doesn't land on you as hard, and then it gives me more opportunity to be intimate with you. I can have that intimate relationship I desire. I can step out of the prison that I put myself in because I was seeking to be intimate in the first place, which was really just wanting to be with my God self. I mean, remember, we're all one. We're all connected, and I know this past few months or weeks, I've been breaking us all down to just our humanness, and I'm doing it on purpose. Because if you want to connect with your God self, one, there's nothing wrong with your God self. It's fine. Our human selves are the ones that are discombobulated on the journey. Our God self knows exactly what the plan was, knows when we made the plan, signed up for the plan, is smiling along with the plan, all of the plan, all of it. Every single thing that's happened in our lives, our God self is cool with. My God self is cool with this, my human is dealing with it. My God self is cool when you step on my toes. My human has to deal with it. I've already forgiven you in my God self. My human's the one that has to do the work. We are intimate as gods. We are together already. We never left. We never became separate. It's the humans that thought we were separate. There's where the intimacy has to come back. There's where the intimacy part of this has to come into effect. We have to come back here with each other. We have to look into each other's eyes so we can look into each other's hearts. But if I'm unwilling to see here because she might be mad at me, or I might be mad at her, man, I'm not going to get into her heart at all. And that's really where we want to live with each other. We may think We want to connect spacesuits. But that's just a brief encounter. And we're going to talk about this in a couple weeks because I'm going to be doing a sacred sexuality talk. But that's just a brief encounter to connect us, to reconnect us. And that's why it only lasts for about 30 seconds, by the way. Otherwise, it lasted any longer than that. Spirit's like, oh, they won't do anything else. Think about it. It's slowly clicking. And breathe, everyone. The idea is to connect with your heart self. Your physical self can connect when you've already connected here. It's very important that this contact be made with people, in my opinion, before you ever even suggest connecting with someone physically. So many of our little kids inside have been hurt and invalidated because we wanted to connect with somebody physically because we wanted the connection. So we went physically instead of emotionally, and the little kid got hurt inside because there wasn't anybody taking care of the emotions yet. Nobody was saying, hey, come talk to me. Let me hear how you're feeling before we do this thing that adults are supposed to be doing. Because kids are cool in their sexuality, and again, we'll talk about that later. But we have to know that they're safe. They need to know they're safe. And the way they know they're safe is by communication and by being able to look in your eyes. I know I'm safe with her. I look in her eyes, I know I'm safe. I know I'm safe with you. I know I'm safe with you. I look in your eyes and I know I'm safe. If I look up, I might not be safe. If I look down, I might not be safe because I don't know what's coming at me. I can see the body, I can see the peripheral stuff, but I'm not looking into their soul. I don't know what's going on. They may simply just be hurting. It's not about evil or bad, it's about hurt. And if I'm willing to listen to the whats that are being said to me, I'm going to become a little bit more intimate than I was the moment before. So, a little while ago, I had you all look in the mirror, and that was the first stage of intimacy. Now we're going to do the second stage. I would like you to turn to the person that is beside you and simply look into their eyes. No words. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Ooh. And if you don't have any eyes to look into your own again. No words, just looking and breathing. That was beautiful. Thank you. How'd that feel? Yeah. It rippled all the way up here. I didn't know that was going to happen to me. Thank you. That's what this is about, everyone. This is about knowing each other and seeing God every day in ourselves, in each other, knowing that the intimacy that we've been looking for was right there. You guys have just been more intimate than some relationships you've had your whole lives. I invite you to do this every day with people you know and twice a day with people you don't know. When you're walking down the street, when you're walking in the mall, look in their eyes and think, intimacy. Think these thoughts, intimacy. Intimacy. so that you can know the God right here. See, I've been praying all wrong, by the way, everybody. I'm totally praying wrong in my life. Look, I've just been demarked. And that's the goal for me, to completely lose my identity. So it's cool that it happened right here in front of everybody. So just call me Hey You. But all the time I've been saying God, Spirit. And as a little kid I said God and Jesus, and being Catholic I said Mary and St. Peter and all that too. But I forgot that when I prayed that God was supposed to say, Dear Becky, please know that today I trust that your guidance is with me, and that the divine jewelliness that I bring within me and the Melanie that I see in me every day. I don't know your name, sweetie, but this is why we want name tags. Too. Because when I'm praying, I realize that it's the Steve in me that is guiding me through this all. And that the divine Martha in me will carry me through this day. And that all the selves that we are the ones that we're praying to. I have said it before. I said, you're Becky Mark, I'm Mark Becky. But I'm getting it clearer and clearer and clearer. And I had already shifted my praying to just simply thank you. It's like I used to pray for all the things I want, but now I'm realizing that when I pray, I'm supposed to pray with all the souls that I've met. Because again, there's 7.5 billion people on our planet. I haven't met them all. I'm not going to have enough time. As Mark, I don't know how many more times I'm going to incarnate. I don't know if we're supposed to incarnate to be every single incarnation. I don't know that one. But I know my soul knows everyone. And that the folks that I meet along the way are the God selves that God put in front of me, that you put in front of me, that we put in front of us, so that we can know each other, so that we can become more intimate with each other, so that we can always be free to walk this walk, knowing that we are the gods, we are the goddesses, we are the ones to be loved. We're the ones to love each other, and the ones to know that we are the lover all the time. And to be able to look into me and say, hi, Mark. And to be able to look into you and acknowledge each and every one of your souls as each and every one of your souls. Start with the mirror. It starts there. It starts at home. On the top of awesome. Thank you.
Can I trust you? Would you love me if you really knew the one inside? I'm afraid to open up and let you into what I've learned to hide. You say you wanna know me, that you wanna help me through. Here's what I'll ask of you. Come near to me, and we will walk together. Come near to me, through the sun and through the rain. And you'll see that we are not so different, that our struggle and our pain is very much the same. But you must come near to me. There are times when I feel like an island in the middle of the sea. How hard the wind is blowing, I'm alone and wondering if someone will rescue me. I feel guilty in the asking. I should quote a verse or two, but I will risk being honest with you. Come near same, but you must come that you wanna help me through, and this is what I ask of you. Come near to me, and we will walk together. Come near to me, through the sun and through the rain, and